This is the most photographed medieval fortress on Earth, a perfect walled city, bristling with towers, straight out of a fairy tale, and one of the most visited monuments in all of France. Millions come to walk its ramparts and feel the Middle Ages close in around them. There's just one problem. A lot of what you're looking at is a fake, not the stone. The stone is old, but those pointed roofs, those wooden galleries, that flawless postcard silhouette, built in the 1800s, and the man everyone credits for it didn't even do the famous part. Let's put Carcassonne on trial. Here's what you see when you arrive. Carcassonne, in the south of France, a double ring of stone walls, one inside the other, studded with dozens of round towers, each crowned with a sharp cone-shaped roof. It's the most complete medieval fortress in Europe, the picture in every textbook, the backdrop of a dozen films. It looks like the Middle Ages froze here and never thawed, and that is exactly the feeling it was designed to give you. In the 19th century, rewind 200 years, and this fairy tale was a slum. By the early 1800s, Carcassonne's walls were crumbling, half swallowed by houses, quarried for building stone. The army had struck it off the list of real fortresses. There were serious plans to knock the whole thing down. What saved it was a brand new 19th century idea, that a medieval ruin wasn't rubbish. It was treasure, worth rescuing, and in 1853, one architect arrived to do the rescuing. His name was Eugène Viollet-le-Duc. Now, be fair to him, because part of what he did was genuinely brilliant. The wooden fighting galleries, the hoardings, that once crowned these walls had rotted away centuries before, gone without a trace. So how do you put them back? You read the wall like a detective. Remember those square putlog holes from last time? That row of sockets just below the battlements is the ghost of the vanished timber. His team measured them, the spacing, the depth, how far the beams once reached, and used that evidence to work out exactly where the galleries had stood, then rebuilt them on the proof. That isn't guesswork, that's archaeology. Bravo. But here's the twist, and it's a good one. The wooden galleries you photograph at Carcassonne today, Viollet-le-Duc never actually built them. He died in 1879, with the work unfinished. The hoardings were raised later by his successor, an architect named Paul Buswell. So the single most medieval feature on the most famous medieval wall on Earth went up around the year 1900, put there by a man almost nobody has heard of. Every caption that says Viollet-le-Duc's hoardings is quietly, confidently wrong. So, beautiful, evidence-based, and finished by the wrong man. But remember the promise from the start. There's a mistake here you can spot from the street, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. Look up at those roofs. Sharp, pointed, cone-shaped, clad in dark grey slate. They look magnificent. They're also wrong. Slate roofs like that belong to the cold, wet north of France. Carcassonne sits in the hot, dry south, where towers wore low roofs of warm terracotta tile. The restorers gave a southern fortress a set of northern hats. Critics have been rolling their eyes at it for over a century. They even coined a name for the offence, restoration in the style. Some of those roofs have quietly been retiled since, trying to walk the mistake back. Now, was this a blunder or a confession? Because Viollet-le-Duc told us in writing exactly what he was doing. His famous definition to restore a building, he wrote, is not to maintain it, repair it, or redo it. It is to restore it to a complete state that may never have existed at any given moment. Read that again. A complete state that may never have existed. He wasn't trying to show you the real Middle Ages. He was building the Middle Ages of his imagination. Cleaner, sharper, more perfect than the messy real thing ever was. That one sentence is the whole case. So play detective yourself. Next time you see Carcassonne, split the picture in two. The lower stone, much of that is genuinely old. Some of it is Roman. The pointed roofs, the tidy silhouette, the wooden galleries. That's the 19th century dreaming out loud. And if you want to know what a real, untouched medieval hoarding looks like, you already met it last episode. The lone oak gallery still standing at Laval, dated by its own tree rings to around 1220. Carcassonne is a gorgeous painting of the Middle Ages. Laval is a photograph. Time for what's inspection. The stone, genuinely old, some of it Roman, real. The wooden galleries, cleverly placed from the putlog holes, but rebuilt around 1900 by Buswell, not the man on the plaque. The roofs, gorgeous, wrong hemisphere. Honesty of the label, guilty. What's verdict? 6 out of 10. A beautiful lie, and worth every ticket. Here's the part that makes it all worthwhile though. In 1997, this Victorian fantasy was made a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected forever. We fell in love with the dream, not the ruin. And maybe that's fair, because Viollet-le-Duc's Carcassonne saved the real stones underneath from the wrecking ball. The beautiful lie kept the honest truth alive. So look closer, love it anyway. Just know which parts are the 13th century and which parts are the 19th. Next time on Siegecraft. The boiling oil you're picturing tipped off the battlements onto the enemy below. It almost never happened. And the truth is so much worse. Every source is in the description. And Watt says, the best forgeries are the ones that tell the truth. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.